As we are now live.
Hey.
We are now live, and we're just waiting on everybody to just start coming in. I did open it up a little early. It is 8:59.
I figure it's
And
8:59.
and everybody will be starting tonight. I'm gonna just wait till y'all come in. I'm excited. I am excited. Let me get this right here. I don't know if they're ready. I don't know if they're ready for Miss Keep It Moving.
I don't know if I'm ready. I said, Lord, just give me what to say. I know I've working on this for quite some time. For presentation.
I know God was gonna give you the words to say, and we're gonna be blessed by them, because when you told me about earlier today, you was telling me about when you was with your dad and what he told you to add to it. I said, oh, okay, all right, okay.
I had to, because I felt like something was missing from the whole presentation. I'm like, I know what I want to say. There's a small piece of that puzzle missing, because the first part of this leads into the next level. It's like you have to go through this thing before you can get to that thing, and so on and so forth. So when I was on my way back last night with my dad, he had asked me a question about how I felt about having my mother back and how our relationship was. And I'm like, why you ask me that question? Then he was like, I just wanted to know, how you feel about it. What I was making out what he was saying, because he was having a hard time with his speech, but I made out pretty much what he was saying about. So I began to tell him, I said, what happened. There's nothing that we can do about that. The only thing that we can do is move forward.
Amen.
So when I chose to make the choices that I made several years ago, to let go and let God handle that, that's when I was able to concentrate on me and get me right, which would prepare me for the things that are going on right now. And I'll certainly talk about those things whenever you're ready for me.
You know what? I know what I forgot to do. Miss Keep It Moving. I did not invite your sisters from the Speak Life Challenge, the 40-day challenge. I'm letting them know that we are live now, so they can also come in. We have some of the ladies from Purpose Professionals are here, and I just want to thank everybody for coming in and just supporting Speak Life, the movement, and supporting Nakikia on this night. I know what she has for us is absolutely amazing. I want to encourage you to get your notebook out, get your pen, because I know we're going to be taking notes, and she's going to be giving us nuggets that we can use throughout our life. You know what I'm saying? So I am excited. I'm excited, and I'm just speaking life into the atmosphere that shall not return to us void, because I know that this is going to be amazing. And so I thank you for just being on the platform, and this is like your third year straight being in the Speak Life platform, and I've seen amazing growth with your brand, and I'm excited to have you here, Nakikia. So thank you so much. I know a lot of people don't know your story, but I'm sure tonight they're gonna get to know a lot about you. So we're ready when you are, Miss Keep It Moving.
Well, I appreciate you and the introduction that you just gave, and this is my third year on the Speak Life platform, and I always say that it's an honor and a privilege to be part of this. It's an humbling experience to have people such as yourself who allow me to come on and share my story and experience my life with others. And I'm hoping that what I have to say tonight will actually help someone else. So I just want people to know that topic is important. Speaking life to your health and wellness, this virtual conference is very important. It's important to me because, as I encourage you, I also encourage myself. And so as I speak life, I want you to all understand that I'm speaking it to myself. And I want people to understand that because I still have to talk to myself daily because I still have struggles that I deal with on a daily basis. So, like I said, as I talk to you, I'm talking to myself. Um, what I want you to understand is that no matter how much you learn, no matter how much of a better person you become, there's always room for improvement. Always. Um, you have to continue to make your new self better. You have to keep that newness new all the time. So you have to continue to learn and continue to grow throughout your journey. So let me encourage you to never stop learning, never stop um, making yourself better. Because there are people that are looking at you. There are people who are watching you. There are those who are watching you to see you make a mistake, but there are also those people who are watching you who want to learn from you. So you want to make sure you're being as positive for them as you can because your walk is helping someone else's walk. So we all know that this conference is about health and wellness. And it's important to note that although the two terms are often used interchangeably, they are actually different. Health and wellness are used interchangeably, but they are different. The definition of wellness is the active process. It's an active process of becoming aware and making choices toward a healthy and fulfilling life. It's a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. And it's not just merely the absence of disease or infirmity. That's one difference. That's the wellness part. Health is slightly different. It is the physical condition or state. Health is the physical condition or state of the mind, body, and spirit at any given time. There are a lot of things, people, and situations that keep many of us from being able to experience the health and wellness we deserve to have in this one life that God has blessed us with. Nevertheless, people, there is one action you can do that will allow you to get free from those things, people, and situations that are negatively impacting your health and your wellness. There is one action that you can do that will allow you to become aware and make better choices for your overall wellness and health. And that act is forgiveness. Letitia, that is the piece that was missing. When I talk about the title of this presentation is Me Factors of Forgiveness, Health, and Wellness. So you have to concentrate on those me factors. These factors that I'm going to give to you will take you to the level to learn how to forgive. First, you got to recognize yourself. You can't forgive if you haven't recognized and acknowledged all those things that put you in the place that you are right now, mentally, physically, emotionally. You have to look at yourself. So as I said, there are a lot of things, situations that keep us from being able to experience the health and wellness we deserve to have in this one life that God has blessed us with. There's, like I said, one action we can do to set free from those things, people, and situations that are negatively impacting your health and wellness. There is one action, and that action is forgiveness. So do you know? Do you know what physical state or condition you are experiencing right now in your health? Are you actively making to improve your physical condition of health or complete wellness? But do you know where you are right now, health-wise and wellness-wise? Do you know where you are? where you are. You can't achieve this without the act of forgiveness. You cannot get to a place where your body is free, that your overall wellness is sound if you have not forgiven. Forgiveness is a key part to living well, living whole, living happily. If you're still carrying grudges and still upset with people about whatever happened in the past, how can you actively and effectively move forward with your life in a healthy way? You can't. Wellness is this a very important part of our living. It's a very important part of the quality of our living. It's also a important part of the quantity, but more importantly, for the quality. Those two things are different. Quantity is the number of years you may live, but that quality, even if you live 5 more years, you want that quality of that 5 years to be the best it can be, as far as your health and wellness goes. And you have to get your mind right in order to get to that state. And many of you know I've been on a quest for several years to just become a better person for my me factor. The me factors are very important for overall health and wellness. So what I have learned this course, or this journey, that taking care of my me factors is not a selfish act. In fact, it's beneficial for me. It's beneficial for those that I'm connected with, like my family, my friends, my co-workers, business partners, etc. Getting your me factors in check is very important, and it's not a selfish thing to do. I'm telling you, if you are in a place where you don't know what to do, where to go, you have to kind of self-examine. You have to examine yourself. Okay, look at your situation and where you are right now, and you have to do a self-assessment, in other words. So I want to help as many of you as I can to understand that it's important to get your meat factors in line for your overall health and wellness. It's not going to be easy. I could say that 100,000 times. It's not going to be easy. It's just not going to be easy. In fact, I still have some days where some days are more difficult than others. Um, and it's going to be painful. And I remember Letitia used to, and she probably still says it. I remember this and I won't ever forget it. Letitia would say, I don't do that heart surgery with no anesthesia. That's pretty much what it's going to feel like. It's going to feel like that. It's going to feel like somebody just ripping your chest cavity open, taking your heart out, and trying to sew the little broken pieces back together. That thing is going to hurt.
That's right.
Hurt. But you got to go through it, because over time, pain will ease and your broken heart will mend, because you've allowed yourself to learn from past mistakes or things that have happened in the past. The me factors to forgiveness. My story is probably not much different from many of you, but yet it's still my story. And it's my story, even though it might be similar to some of you. It might have affected me differently. That's the point I'm making. It affected me a lot different than it might have affected some other people that have gone through the same situation. Sometimes my mind is just all over the place. Most times, it's just everywhere. And, I find it challenging to get focused and stay focused. Because I go from having these positive thoughts to these negative Nancy type thoughts where, I can feel that I'm doing a good thing, yet I'm wondering in the back of my head, that ain't good enough. That's not, you need to do something else. Something else could have been done better in this situation. But why am I feeling like that? Why does this continue to happen? Well, I'm going to give you a little bit of my background, and then I'll tell you how I try to fight off those negative thoughts. As a kid, and many of you might, like I said, may have gone through some of these things. As a kid growing up, I've always tried to please the people who were supposed to love me the most, but never really quite measured up expectation. Being encouraged to diet and exercise because I was too heavy for my age, but not having a role model or support system to encourage me to become successful. Eventually, those things played a major role in the negative perception that I had on my life. The way I looked at life was just, I was just in such a negative place. Because of all these things that I kept hearing in the back of my head. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're not pretty enough. You're too fat. You're too big. You need to do this. You need to do that. But not really having not really having anyone speaking positive things to my life. The more I tried to do that was pleasing, the more it seemed to fall through the cracks. The more it seemed that it was just not enough. It just was not enough. And the more you continue to hear these negative things, you become a product of your environment.
Tell
You
the
become
truth.
negative. You attract who you are at the time. And if you are a negative person and your environment is always negative, you're not going to attract anything positive. Nothing positive is going to come out of you being that product of the environment in which you were in. And that made it hard for me growing up. It's tough trying to be a kid and understand why your mother chose her addiction over you, or why your father decided to drink his life away because he had to raise two kids on his own, and how he was so angry, how he would be so upset, because even to this day I'm still the spitting image of my mother. And so I remember when I was a kid, he had been drinking, and I was at my mom's sister's house, and he had come to pick us up, take us home. I knew he was drunk, right? So something happened, and I must have said something wrong, did something wrong. I had that look that my mother used to have, and he yelled out and called me, "You stupid bitch." I'm like, this can't, and I'm sorry, but that's those are the words. Now you'll see how your actions could be, that your own father would call you something like that, or your parents are treating you as if they wish you weren't even here. I grew up into a young one, scared from the pain of being molested. The person that molested me was not even a blood relation. That person was married into the family. They met his in peace, because he's now dead. At that time, being 12 years old, I was fully developed. I mean, I looked like your old person. I was fully developed, boobies and booty and everything. And so with that, I felt that I couldn't say anything to anyone because I felt like I was going to be blamed for it. So imagine carrying that around all that time up until you're an adult. I just recently started talking about that part of my life. I just started talking to my husband that, but understand that I had to go me to love me, to comfort me. When he got to a certain area of my body, I would push him away.
Wow.
Because that whole thing replayed in my head, and it wasn't his fault. And he couldn't understand, why are you doing this? Why are you feeling like, every time I want to hug you, you think I'm just trying to be sexual. I just want to hold you. But that wasn't what I was feeling. I became, what did my therapist call it? Right now, but it was kind of where combative kind of type thing, where I'm displaying, where I'm trying to protect myself. And why am I trying to protect myself from the man that said he wanted my hand in marriage? The man that asked me to marry him. Why would he hurt me? That hadn't played in my mind, but as our relationship started to kind of drift apart, because and I have to say that I believe some of that had to do with me addressing that thing and not having really told anybody about it up until this point. And I finally shared that thing with him first, and then I talked to my therapist. And so when I talked to my therapist, I was able to actually come home and explain to him what was going on. So I noticed now, Lord have mercy, I love his little fat head. I noticed now that when he wants to hug or touch, he's careful about how he's grabbing me or something like that. And I hate that, but it's helping me understand that he's well. I can until I'm fully work those things. And let's keep in mind this is just something recently that I started talking about. I'm still working through that, and he's helping me work through that thing. But I was a very unhappy person on a platform before where I was speaking. I talked about wanted to drive myself off the bridge, Highway 52 in Winston. And I was coming from work one night. I just, I've always been able to put up facade. Facade meaning on a mask, wear a face that wasn't real, cover up pain, cover up wounds. I could smile, I could tell jokes, I can make other people laugh, I could do things for other people, yet I couldn't help myself. And I felt like I felt alone, I felt discouraged, I felt unwanted, unloved at the time, and I just said, you know what, Lord, if I drive myself off this road, ain't nobody gonna care. That I said, Lord have mercy, help me. And I was driving, but the next thing I know, I was in the driveway of my apartment. I was in front of my door, and I'm like, "Huh, in the devil, what? How did I get here?" I was in shock. I remember the words I said, and I remember briefly closing my eyes and saying, "Lord, help me." And next thing I know, I'm in the front door of my apartment. I guess that's a bit to happen. So I said, Lord, thank you. I appreciate you, Jesus, because apparently he had some stuff that he needed me to do, and me driving off that bridge wasn't gonna help. It's just been a very it's been a long journey, but these me factors are important. You have to get that mental evaluation thing going. That's one of the first me factors I have. I have plenty of them, but the ones that I feel like are imperative for tonight is the mental evaluation. Mental evaluation. Me, part of the me factor. Okay? I had to think about all the things that I had gone through in my life up until this point. Being an abused child, mentally and physically, being abandoned and feeling the feeling of rejection. And fast forward to being an adult, being told that I would never have children, or it would be difficult for me to have children, and worrying about never ever becoming a mother. That played a lot in my thinking as well. When I talk about it, I get emotional, so y'all have to excuse me if I start doing the ugly cry.
It's all right, girl. Take your time. Take your time. What I love about this is your testimony. So you take your time, honey. This is your time.
I had polycystic ovarian syndrome, which means that there are cysts covering the ovary, and it's hard for good eggs to flow through the tube. So the doctor was informing me that it would be difficult for you to have children, or you won't ever be able to have children. Well, I of course went into a state of anger and like, why me, and can't be. But nonetheless, as I have always done, I keep moving. That's what I do. So in 2004, I got married. But 1 month prior to my wedding date, I find out I'm pregnant. So I was happy, but I was still afraid. But 2004, I had my first baby, and she's almost 12. Her name is Mia, and I always say she's like my first blessing. Um, and that helped my faith just a little bit more. It boosted my faith just knowing, okay, I know what those doctors told me, but I swear my God is so much bigger. He is a miracle worker, and I always count my blessings for that because I just knew I wasn't going to be able to experience being a mother. And I got food, and so did the doctors.
Mm-hmm.
But even though I got that boost, or even though that boost came, I got it, I'm like, yes. It still didn't come without its trials. It still didn't come without tests. Your faith is going to be tested every day. But it's up to you to continue to remember that just a little bit of faith, all you need.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I had. I had just a had more faith when I got married and had my kid. Um, but between in 2008, I was pregnant again and I miscarried. 2009, I had Nakikia, my son. In 2010, 1 year after I gave birth to my son, I had another miscarriage.
Mm-hmm.
1 year to the day. Nakikia was born on August the 11th, August the 10th of 2010. That was a pretty rough time. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it was rough. That was rough. That was rough. But um, and then the year after that, 2011, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. I had another miscarriage the same year. So if you don't believe your faith will be tested, honey, I'm here to tell you, my faith has been tested over and over. My faith has been tested since I was a kid. But I continue to keep it moving and stand on that, the foundation that my grandmother set for me is that God will never leave you nor forsake you. Now, you're going to go through some trials and tribulations. And just because you get saved, does not mean life is not going to give you lemons. But it's up to you to make lemonade out of those lemons that life throw at you. If the life throwing bricks, build you a house. Just do something with the bricks. Don't just sit there and let the bricks hit you and you're not, fighting back. Just do something. So I continue to pray and I continue to, ask the Lord to help me through these things. Diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Then I got the diagnosis of PTSD, panic attack disorder, and anxiety. Man, what more could a girl go through?
Come on.
I look. Wait a minute, y'all see my hair? I'm doing the tissue because y'all see this. I'm glad I don't look like what I've been through. Look at that. I don't look like what I've been through, but I have been through some things, and I'm still being tested even to this day. And I'm at a point where now I understand why I was going through those things. Um, so I get that the evaluation have to understand the things that you have gone through. You have to take a mental assessment of yourself in order to move on. Um, multiple sclerosis education. Multiple sclerosis education. Another me factor for me. That's my me factor. So meanwhile, I had to accept the fact that I was being faced with this disease that I had to live with. And at one point, I believe that it might have played a role in the miscarriages that I had, but not really having medical proof. But that's neither here nor there. I'm just saying that it made me angry to know that I was to be diagnosed with such potentially debilitating disease. But I still count my blessings because I'm still able to walk. I'm still able to eat. I'm still able to
That's
see,
right.
hear, and I'm still able to think on my own. I could put my own clothes on. I mean, I can still do for myself. And there are people who are diagnosed with this disease who have a much more challenging time than I have. They're in wheelchairs, they're on feeding tubes, they're on breathing machines, and some of them are bedridden. So I count myself. I try to. I started trying to educate people about um, what MS is and how it affects the brain and the spinal cord and the lesions that it leaves. And I talked to them about the stages of MS, and those are relapse remitting. That's one, primary progressive MS, secondary progressive, and the worst case one is progressive relapse one. Um, Sometimes when people have remission are come out of remission, in that last stage is relapse, and you have an exacerbation of or a flare up, and you don't recover from it. Some people end up losing their battle, but to God be the glory. I mean, stage one, and I ain't going no further.
Come
That's it.
on.
So, um, but I say that having or living with multiple sclerosis, it started lifting the blinders away from my eyes and gave me a kind of new perspective on life. Either I was going to sit in my current condition and just be like, oh, woe is me, and everything is so negative, and oh, I feel so sorry. I've never been that type. I don't care what I had gone through. I've never been feel sorry for me type of person. I never wanted to feel sorry for myself. But I use mental education, my other me factor. I start talking a lot more about this me factor, mental health education, because although multiple sclerosis is important to talk about, I can't overcome the symptoms of multiple sclerosis if my mind isn't right. And so I educate myself and I educate others about the illnesses of mental health. I talk to them about what I face with anxiety and panic attack disorder um, and living with PTSD as well. Um, it's important for me to share this information, particularly with our Black community. Um, I don't know what it is about. I don't know what it is about us that we feel that we rather believe in the myths than go and find out the truth. Just because someone says, okay, a PTSD, that does not make you weak. That does not make you crazy. It makes you human. Just as your heart can become diseased, you'll go to the doctor for that, right? You'll go get that heart medicine, right? Your brain is an organ. When it is dysfunctional, you have to do something to regulate that. There could be a chemical imbalance. I mean, it could be anything, but your brain needs to be serviced just like the rest of your body. I said service like it's a car or something, but however you can relate to it, relate it to yourself that way. Black people are 80% less likely. That means they will not acknowledge that they may have a mental health issue and go get help for it. They will not address these things because of the myths that have been unleashed into the community from one generation to the next. The myths surrounding mental health issues lead to the belief that others will think you're weak or crazy or demonized. Really? Really? Oh my God, really? These myths are not true. They are not true. It does not mean you have a demon in you. It doesn't mean that you are crazy. It just means that you need help. And there's nothing wrong with getting the medical attention you need to get your brain functioning properly. Because if it's not functioning properly, how are you going to speak life to your health?
Come on.
How are you going to speak life to your wealth, your wellness? How are you going to speak life to healing? How can you do that? You won't be in the right mind to do it because you're so focused on, oh, they're going to think I'm crazy. They're going to think something is wrong with me. It is something wrong with you. And I'm going to say you're crazy if you don't go get help. That's crazy. That's crazy. I think and believe that it is very important, mind, body, and spirit, to be healthy. You can't take care of yourself in your body, that vessel that you want the Lord to dwell in, if you can't focus on the things that you need to focus on. So if your mind is having you go all over the place, it keep you from functioning the way you need to function in this life, then you won't have that full healthy body and be able to live a life of total health and wellness. That mind, body, and spirit thing, it's a connection.
Mm-hmm.
They're all they're intertwined. Um, most for me is the mind. Now, the body. Like that. You gotta have your brain right in order to have a good quality of life. Another nation. But needless to say, I always say, Lord, thank you. I'm glad to be in number one more time.
Now that I did hear. Now that I did hear. You glad to be in the number one more time? You guys that are here, I know you guys can hear me, and I'm getting feedback, and I'm getting and I see her call has just dropped. But one thing I'm excited about, that she was sharing her testimony, and she wasn't afraid to share her testimony. She's not afraid to share her testimony about multiple sclerosis. She's not afraid to share her testimony about depression or the things that she's going through. And the devil is a liar and the truth ain't in him. And she's back. And she's going to continue to share her testimony. And because there's other people out there that may be going through the same thing. And you need to know that you're not alone. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate her for not being afraid to come on to speak life and allow us to hear her testimony. And just to say, without health and wealth meant to her forgiveness. That was the key to her health and wealth. Without forgiveness, without forgiving her mom, without forgiving her father, she couldn't go on. I always say, with a hard heart, what a hard heart can't beat. I'm going to say it one more time. A hard heart can't beat. So you killing yourself when you have unforgiveness in your heart. Everybody else, they going on with the rest of their life. You know, they living, they have careers, they have families, and then you still thinking about what they did to you. So she's back, and I see that we can see her clear now, and hopefully that the internet would work with us. And so, Nakikia, you can have your floor back here.
I'm sorry, I don't know what happened, but the devil is a lie. As soon as I started trying to tell my story, because this is where I come into the part of talking about how important it is for those me factors to be taken care of in order to get to the forgiveness part. In my third me factor here for tonight's platform is meditation and elimination. After going through these challenges of life, I still find myself having to find ways to positively handle these negative thoughts and that creep up in my head. I have had to actively aware of when those negative thoughts are coming or they've arrived, and I've had to start training myself to alter those ones. Um, let's see. For example, when I think no one cares about what I'm doing in the community, for example, or I feel that the audience is not big enough as I want it to be, or I try to change the thought to, if I just reach one person, just one, that one person will be enough. If I reach one person, I've still performed God's work. And He's happy. I meditate on the good. Oh,
Are you there? Okay. She's froze up again, you guys, but this has been good to me. This has been truly good to me because she's been able to share. That she's been able to share on this platform, and it's a number of you that are here, and a number of you that's in the Speak Life Challenge for 40 days, and it's not easy. This is not an easy task to share your testimony and to open up wounds in front of people, and to share things that you've gone through. And are you back, Nakikia? Are you back, dear?
I hear you, but I'm not sure if you hear me.
There we go. Okay. Go ahead.
See, the devil, he trying. Ooh, Lord, he better back up off me.
Come on now.
Because this is how you know what I'm saying is important. And I don't know if you heard saying that I try to combat the negative thoughts that I have sometimes. And when I was talking about one person, that one person is enough. Because I've done what God has asked me to do. I've given the information that He's instructed me to give, if only to one person. That one person got what they needed, and I know that He's happy. And I was meant on God, keep my church, and I always strength. And I ask God to remove the negative things and the people who are secretly trying to keep me from doing His will for my life. Because I know He has more for me than they do, or than what they can see, or what even I can see. I know He has so much more for me to do. So I guess you're not wondering, so what's the point of the well, there's a very good point. In order to be healthy and experience wellness, you have to forgive. Why? Why
Okay. That shows you how important the stuff that she has to say tonight. The devil is a liar. And I'm so excited that these are things that she's also shared. She actually shared at the Divas and Daughters in 2014. She shared a part of her testimony, and her mother was actually there. And that was an experience, to watch her talk about forgiveness, and her mother was there. And if you can see the way they interact, if some of you are their Facebook friends, and it's like they're the best of friends now, and you can never tell that gap was there. The way Nakikia fights off multiple sclerosis, you can't tell, even if you understand the signs and symptoms and disease process of multiple sclerosis. And that's where the depression comes in. Sometimes you might think, people with multiple sclerosis is bipolar. She's trying to tell you about all these different things, and the silent diseases like that, they get it really hard because you can't see it on the outside of their body. Am I right, Nakikia? Those are things.
You are right.
Those are things that you cannot physically, you just can't see. So it's like when she's going through, you might think that she has a problem with you, but she has a problem within that she's fighting off. She's praying to God that he deliver her from this, and while people are judging. So she's like, Lord, those that are hurting me, or they're not for me, they're against me, take me away from them. That's what I just heard you say. Get them out of my space. I commend you to even be on this platform, to even say that, just openly. I heard you say it, so I'm going to just repeat it. The devil is a liar. Your message is going to go out. And I'm just proud of you. I'm proud of you for taking a stand, that he didn't give you a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. I'm going to say that right now, a sound mind, because you was just talking about how sometimes your mind is everywhere, and like you be thinking different things. But we bind that right now in the name of Jesus. We cast that out. That's gone. We're not dealing with a confused mind. We got a sound mind. You can control that in the name of Jesus.
Right. In the name of Jesus.
So I am excited. Like I said, I am excited about your healing, because by his stripes, you are healed from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. I call you healed, delivered, and set free. We're letting people know about your disease process, letting them know about the things that you're going through. Yeah, the computer keep breaking up, but he shall not win, because guess what? I got a mouth, and I got a tongue, and I have the power of life and death in my tongue, and those that love it will eat its fruit, honey. And you can't shut me up. Can't shut me up. Because I do all kind of signals. I smoke signal. We gotta get his message out, honey. Ain't nobody gonna shut nobody up. The devil is a liar, and I thank him for dominion. I thank God for dominion. I thank him for power. I thank him that he has given us dominion over the enemy, and that we can speak life into the atmosphere, and we can let people know about our story, so he can get the whole entire glory. I thank him for that. I thank him for that. And I'm praying, Nakikia, I'm praying that you will be on the next project to get your story out in the book. It's time for your story to be in a book, honey. It's time. It's time for you to be on this next book. You gotta stop playing. You got stories in your belly, honey.
I know it, and I'm heavily considering being a part of that. I've been praying to God to show me, guide me into making the right decision. This collaboration, asking him to figure out a way to be a part of that collaboration. And if this is his will, it will be done. So there will be nothing I will be able to not do, because if it's his will, it's gonna be done. It's gonna be done. So I appreciate being given the invitation to be a part of any type of collaboration with you, Letitia Nicole, because you are a very powerful woman of God, and I've seen so much transformation that so many, including myself. So how I dare not stop what I'm doing right now. So I will continue to speak and tell my story as many times to hear it, or just share how how the Lord has kept me to this point. Powerful, the me factors are good, a good starting point for people who are having an issue with forgiveness. You have to look within yourself first. You have to look within yourself, and then you have to think about, what would God want you to do? You just think about how God has forgiven you for all the multiple sins that you've committed and all the multiple things that you've done wrong in your life. You have to look at it that way as well. I look at too that I am now faced with the of taking care of my father. Again, I mentioned that he
Now y'all just gotta know the devil is
in
getting on my
November.
whole
To
entire
me,
nerve.
he's
Go
still a
ahead and
young
speak.
man, and to be faithful showing and displaying in the fact that I know I have to take care of him, and I'm taking care of him. We kind of got like this really nice bond now, and a long time ago, my mom's been under the weather herself. She's been sick with this upper respiratory infection, and so asked a few years ago, how your mama doing? I wouldn't have been the one to take up her get to the next day just till she get to the doctor. I wouldn't care. Um, if you had asked me about my father a few years, I don't have no, because if I have issues called the past, dad lost his mother when he was a kid. His dad married another woman, a step woman who was a mother who was mean and ugly to him. Was an abused child. She was abandoned by her mother. So I take those now. I take those things now into consideration. That if I went through, how can I say somebody else can go through to put them into a place should have been made children. So I as an adult, I have been able to uh, take those things into account, and before you totally judge. So do a self-evaluation. Um, do that mental evaluation, and then do some meditation and elimination. Meditate on the goodness of God. Meditate on His Word and what it means to you in your life, and then eliminate those things that are not of God. We have kids. Some of us have children looking up to or not, walking at you and seeing how you handle different situations. So keep those things into the forefront of your mind. This whole life of mine, I call it divine intervention. It can't be anything else but the Lord who has kept me this whole time. And even though it's been a journey and a struggle, honey, I am still glad to be in the number one more time, and I'm gonna continue to do what the Lord has called me to do until He calls me home. So, I say to all of you, no matter what you're going through in your life, keep it moving. Pull them boots up. Pull them big girl panties up. Them big boy boxes. Pull them up. Keep it moving. Find you a prayer partner, a teammate, somebody, pastor, somebody. Get you a therapist. I got one. I give you the name to Carolina Health Partners. They have helped me in the name of Jesus. They help their mental tune up right. So that's my story, everybody. That is my story.
Well, I thank you for sharing it, Nakikia. I thank you for being brave and sharing it. Not a lot of women are brave enough to share that. You know, a lot of people are still going to where they don't forgive themselves for not forgiving their parents. So they're not sharing their story. So you have taken a step where you forgive your parents and you forgive you, and you're healing. You're healing daily. And what I like about your testimony is you saying it's not over. As I'm speaking life to me, I'm speaking life, to you, and I'm speaking life to you. I'm speaking life to me. Like, this is a daily walk. And long as I have breath, I'm going to keep trying and keep speaking life. So I appreciate that. And I love the fact that you incorporated healing, forgiveness in healing. Because a lot of people think healing has to do with just moving on. Like you always say, keep it moving. Well, you can't keep it moving with unforgiveness, right? A lot of people think, well, I don't even have to deal with the people that hurt me. I don't even have to deal with, I ain't got to talk with them. I ain't got to be around them. But guess what? You're carrying them around in your heart. You're carrying them in your mind. You're carrying them day to day. No matter how hard you try to forget about how much you dislike someone or how much they hurt you, if you truly are not healed, delivered, and set free from that infirmity or that unforgiveness, I mean, you're sick. Okay. So I'm excited about your healing. I'm going to say that once again, Nakikia. I'm excited about your healing and that you have built a platform around your healing. Keep it moving, miss. Keep it moving. You keeping it moving with your marriage. You're keeping it moving with your children. You're keeping it moving with your job and your company. You're keeping it moving in the community, and that's awesome. A healthy feet on the street. You keeping it moving. You're not stopping. You just keep going and don't allow anything to deter you. So I'm excited about that. And I'm going to go to social media now. Okay. I'm going to go to social media and see if we have any questions. I do see that, people were quoting you. And even one of your sisters in the Speak Life 40 day movement, 40-day challenge, they quoted you. Hold on, here we go, right here. Adrian gave you out a quote, and I'm like, wow, about forgiveness. Never stop making you better, and you was talking about physical condition on state of mind and body and spirit. Let me go back to Purpose Professionals as well. Pamela Purefoy says she see you.
Hey, girl.
That's right. Your faith will be tested. Absolutely. And Shavannah said, wow, what a powerful testimony, Nakikia. You attract who you are. It was just the truth. Tisha Bell said she's listening. Awesome information. Quality to be the best it can be. Forgiveness is the key to health. And then you asked everybody, do you know where you are in health? And that was something for them to do a self-assessment. Never stop making you better. That was good to me. Never stop making you better. You can't forget about you. And Nikita said loving and sharing. Absolutely. So, I mean, like you said, if you just reach one person, you've done God's will. And so I just want to thank you for just blessing us with your testimony. A lot of people didn't share their testimony. They were speaking, but you were speaking from straight out of your heart. You were speaking from straight out of, your life. What a lot of people say, well, what I know a lot of people do this to you because they did this to me. What gave you the qualifications to speak, or how did you qualify? That's your experience. Absolutely. So that's what gave her the qualifications, her life, her experience. She didn't have to write the bio, she lived it. You understand? She's living it. And it's not over. So when you hear somebody to have multiple sclerosis and you see that they don't have the symptoms that's outside, they don't have sores, they don't have open, they don't have things.
I'm not in a wheelchair. I'm not walking with a walker.
Right.
So, everybody who lives with multiple sclerosis does not have those physical or those visible signs, symptoms. Many do, but many don't. And I'm one of the people, I've been blessed that can't see my symptoms, can't visibly see with your naked eye what my body is doing to me. And that's okay. I still fight every day to stay healthy and to continue to live well. And I like to use myself as a living testimony to help others are not just living with multiple sclerosis. There are other invisible diseases like lupus. People living with Graves' disease. Sometimes those symptoms are not visible to other people. They're living with these things. Chronic pain, fibromyalgia, things like that you may not be able to see with your eyes. People are going through, y'all. And I really hope and pray that it's home to a lot of those people who are listening, spread this information. Don't judge a book by its cover. Unless you walked a mile in somebody's shoes, don't assume anything. Don't assume. Pray for them.
Absolutely.
Just pray for them. Give them to God and ask the Lord to help them in any way, shape, form they need it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. One last one. Tamika, no excuse, says she see you too. She see you. Awesome testimony.
Thank you.
And so I'm sure you're going to have people praying for you and continue with your healing process and going to be supporting you along the way, because that's what Purpose Professionals is all about. We all have a purpose. We all have a purpose, and we're professionals that support one another. So I thank you for allowing us to hear your awesome testimony, and don't stop. If God be for you, who could be against you? And you're always welcome on the Speak Life platform, and thank you for allowing myself to pour into you as well. I don't take that lightly, Nakikia. I don't take that lightly at all. And so I say thank you. And if anybody would like to contact her or to donate to her cause, Nakikia, can you please give them ways to contact you, and also put it into the Purpose Professional group so they'll know how to contact you?
Yes. If you would like to make a donation of any kind, things for healthy feet on the street, personal hygiene, canned food, non-perishable food, socks and gloves and hats and coats, what have you, whatever you feel is on your heart to give. You can email me at misskeepitmoving5@gmail.com, and I will give you further information about making monetary donations if you would like to do that as well. All the proceeds are going to Keep It Moving, Healthy Feet on the Street for the community. Again, please contact me. You can call me at 919-423-4691, and we can go from there as well. Also, you can Facebook me, hit me up in the inbox, and we can go from there as well.
All right. Well, this has been amazing. And I want to let you guys know that we will be here on tomorrow. Let me tell you who's coming on tomorrow, you guys. This is the webinars have been completely amazing. Tomorrow is Darlene Brown. I am so excited. She was just here in Durham, North Carolina. She was here for the premiere of the Head Ladies in Charge. And so we get the chance to hear her on tomorrow at 9 p.m. The whole this whole week is going to be amazing. On Wednesday we have Pam Purefoy, and on Thursday we have Reginald McGuire. And if you don't know him, that's Kim Cole's husband, and he's amazing as well. So this week is going to be very power packed and loving, and different testimonies and different people speaking from from their heart. So, and again, Nakikia, thank you, and we love you. You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.